Cool. What's going on, guys? I am one of the esteemed writers at the MMATakeover.com, and I'm here today with none other than top LFA middleweight prospect Brendan Allen. Mr. Allen, you driving in your car? How we feeling today, man? What's going on?
Good, man. Just getting ready. Just got here to Milwaukee. About to start the camp. Just got done with a little run, a little lifting. Just ready, to get it started, get it going.
Cool. So you're starting a new camp. I must not be aware of it. Did you got a new fight booked? You got some news that you might be keeping under wraps? What's happening?
Yeah, man. We're supposed to be able to announce this week. I'm just waiting on LFA
Awesome.
to announce. They have to announce first. After
Yeah,
that, we'll be able to obviously to announce to everyone. Super excited. Can't wait to release to everyone. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Awesome, man. I had a feeling that was going to come soon, and we'll get into that momentarily. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like, training at Roufusport. How long have you been training over there with the guys over in Duke Rufus's camp?
I believe this is my fourth camp here. I've had one really short one, which was my first one, and then this is my third full one. So it's been great. I love it here. I wouldn't drive all the way and leave my family for as long as I do to train at a mediocre gym. So I love it here. I love the coaches. Love all my training partners.
Right, man, and obviously the family aspect of things is very important. But to get the reps in with guys underneath the roof that they got over there is definitely what's got to be best for the production of your career. And tell me, how did you and Duke first meet? Did you guys have mutual friends, or how did that come about?
I came up with Tim Crater for an Agora meeting. Got to train with some of the guys, learn some quick things. That was actually during my camp with Eric Anders, and I just loved it here. I love the guys and the coaching. I felt like they had what I was missing. So I talked to Tim, and he talked to Duke, and he said he'd love to have me. So came up here for a short notice fight, and been up here ever since for training camps.
Sweet, man. Awesome. And obviously there's a tremendous set of options for you to have as training partners over there. Actually, going to be interviewing one of your teammates later today, Mr. Emmanuel Sanchez, I'm supposed to talk to later on. Who do you consider as your main go-to training partners? And maybe pick one or two guys, not trying to pick any favorites, but who would you consider your closest friends, per se, at Roufusport?
So my closest training partners are obviously always going to be the bigger guys. Gerald Mearshart, Mike Biggie Rhodes, Cam Olson, all the guys like that. When Paul comes in, Paul Felder, had a camp with him last time. Train with Anthony Pettis every now and then because, he's so good standing that he'll stand with the big guys or anybody really. But, yeah, mostly I just keep with the big guys. We got new Jordan Newman. He's a two-time national champion, D3. He's really good. He's going to be really good one day. But, just keeping it with the bigger guys. Those are mainly my big guys. As far as friends, we're all really close. But I hang out a lot with one of our newly pros, Brian Bautista,
Okay.
UFC's Jared Gordon, Craig Eckelberg. I hang out with them guys a lot. But a guy that I really look up to as far as fighting and go to a lot would be, for the ground, definitely Jared Gordon. And then mostly Gerald Mearshart. He's a big influence. He helps me a lot mentally. Strategically, everything, and he's a huge help. Him and Biggie too. He'll help me as well.
I like all three of those guys a lot. Jared Gordon's story is phenomenal, and Gerald Mearshart, if I'm not mistaken, he just got his black belt, didn't he?
Yeah, he just got it Saturday after he won the Chicago Open. Super happy for him.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I was really happy for him after his fight with Pihota as well. So let's talk about the middleweight landscape in the LFA. Obviously, you let me in a little bit on knowing that there might be some news coming. And the middleweight landscape kind of right now is looking a little bit for the taking, with obviously Anthony Hernandez and Ian Heinisch headed off to the UFC. They're both deserving of it, or no doubt. Before we get into talking about you in where that all fits, how do you think those two will fare in the UFC?
I think they'll do well. Anthony's a good dude. Of course, with all my losses, I'd love to fight them all again. I definitely don't think I performed right, but I'm not taking anything away from any of them. Those guys are all good. They're all doing big things, and I'm very happy for them. It was their time, and hopefully now it's mine. So I think they'll do well. I think Ian's fought not to the level of calibers as other guys, but I still think he'll fare pretty well. I still think his skill set will match pretty well, But it depends what they try to do to him. Everyone knows in the UFC you can either be fed or you can be thrown to the wolves really fast, like Kevin Holland was. But like I said, it's just all what they decide to do with him.
I'm really happy you brought up the 3 losses, because that was actually what I was going to literally ask you next. Have you ever taken a second to process that all 3 of those guys are in the UFC? And if you had the opportunity to get a crack at avenging one of those 3 losses, who would you choose and why?
I think unfortunately, he's probably one of my favorites of the 3, but Anthony I'd want to fight first, just because I feel like that was my absolute worst performance in my whole fighting career. Like I said, I love the dude as a person. He's super cool. He's super funny, super down to earth. But as a business move, I just feel like that would be where it's at for me. But again, all those guys are doing their thing, and very happy for them.
Yeah, man. Anders coming off of a controversial split decision loss, I personally didn't agree with, but that's beside the point. So obviously, with Giles and all those guys being up there, the LFA has obviously proven to be, and a lot of the shows on Access TV in particular have proven to be not only proving grounds for young fighters, but maybe per se stepping stones to the big leagues once they get their hands on gold. And the trend has been obvious. So, with you having fought for a vacant gold twice, and you really only are 22 years old, and people overlook that. You alluded earlier to it being your time. Why do you feel more confident about that ever than now?
I just feel like I'm mentally in a better place. I'm maturing in the game a lot. Every time, obviously, I'm maturing. But I just feel good mentally. I'm not putting pressure on myself like I was in those 2 losses mainly. I'm just focused on the fight. I tend to look too far ahead sometimes, and I obviously am still looking ahead a little bit, but I'm more focused on the fight itself, not being a title fight or anything like that. I'm not focused on the belt. It's a fight. I'm going to go in there and fight. I'm going to give my best for these 5.5, 6 weeks of camp, and then I'm going to do what I have to do come fight night. Just stay relaxed and have a good time, and get the job done.
Hell yeah, man! And you had a relatively quick night back at the office in June. A shot to the temple was something that got me off my couch, I remember. And with the shuffling of the guard as of late in that middleweight division, a lot of people are thinking that it might be yours for the taking. Obviously, now that you agree with that assessment, what's per se? I'm trying to find the right way to ask this question. Is there anyone that you may have preferred coming into the fight that you have now, being that obviously you have it under wraps and the LFA is going to make it official later this week? Is the future opponent that you have one that you might have wanted?
Yeah, of course. He's definitely a guy I was looking at before. I felt with Continuous Series they took everyone that was, in the top or whatever it may be. But the guy that I'm fighting is a good guy. He's a good fighter. I'm looking forward to it. I knew that this fight was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be, how it's going to be, per se. But, it's good. It's, we'll just say it's back to another main event again.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm excited for that.
Cool, man. Yeah, definitely deserved, in my opinion. Let me say real quick, too, I thought I wanted to at least let you know that I thought the feature that you had on your brother and your family right before your fight at LFA 43 was super awesome, and it was really well put together. I just want to let you know that I felt that way about that. And then in a perfect world, I'm not sure obviously when this day is with the LFA getting ready to announce it later this week, but let's say in a perfect world, and given the facts and the knowledge we have of what happens with LFA middleweight champions, in a perfect world, seeing that you get this fight done and get it relatively over quickly, you got your eye on that December 15th Milwaukee card in the UFC. What are you thinking, man?
100%, man. I'd love to fight here in Milwaukee. It's kind of like an adopted city to me. I'd love to fight in front or with all my teammates, all my team members, my coaches, everything. That'd be great. I'd like to fight, obviously any one of my losses, or, I'd even like to fight Ian Heinisch for sure. But again, I'm still super focused on this. I'm just focused on getting this job done, and whatever comes, comes.
Absolutely, man. So that just about does it for what I have. I do want to ask you though, really quickly, being that you are in the middleweight division, do you have maybe a side you'd be leaning on towards picking Robert Whitaker and Kelvin Gastelum? I think are going to get it going at the beginning of next year. Would you have a maybe particular side you would lean one way or the other?
Yeah, easy, Whitaker. I'm a big Whitaker fan. I think he's
Hell
really
yeah.
good. He's young, and he's just, I don't know, man. He's just good. He just exposes people and does his thing.
Dude, I mean, the shots that he threw at Romero in literally both of those fights. I mean, I think the guy's made of concrete or something. Like, but Whitaker, I would have to agree with you on that. And then last thing for me, obviously, what many people are dubbing as the biggest fight in the history of the sport is coming up in October between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor. Do you have a side that you're leaning particularly towards on that one?
It's a little tough, man. I feel like Conor possesses that one thing that, not just Khabib, but anybody, that one punch knockout power. That can end anybody's night. And so, you know, he possesses that one threat that Khabib should be worried about, or anybody should be worried about. But if Khabib grabs you, it's gonna be a long, long night. So I mean, I'm gonna have to say Khabib, but you know, like I said, you do got to remember that Conor does have that one punch knockout power at any time.
That he does. Well, hey, thanks, man, a lot for doing the interview and giving me the time today to answer a few of my questions. And I'm definitely looking forward to see who LFA is going to have you matched up with later this week. Again, thanks a lot for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it as well.
Yep. You have a good one, bro.
You too. Thank you, man.
Yep.